Glad tidings, greetings to all the beloved across the world. If you're just starting your day, good risings to you. I had come across it was actually a t-shirt that I saw, and I searched it up and I found the meme version of it, and I posted it on my page about Kamala, Joe, Hunter, and Trump. And a sister left a comment, well, who should we vote for then? And it was actually a few good comments. I read at least one of them that were made in response. But I figured I would just respond verbally. It's just too much to write. So this is concerning that. You have no vote. I just need you to understand this. All right? At the very least, you can understand it, but it would be better if you understood it, and that's why I'm speaking to address this. You have no vote, okay? It's called the popular vote. That's the name that they give it. And you cast it at a poll, all right? And it's on a ballot. That's not how you vote, all right? That's not how you cast a vote. A ballot and a poll is basically, a ballot is like a census. It's gauging where the people, where their minds are, what energy are they connected to, which pole are they connected to in the duality, okay? The red pole or the blue pole. Red shift, blue shift, okay? Democrat, Republican. It's nothing more than you basically showing the enemy. It's like you sitting down at a card game at a table, and before you guys play your hand, somebody says, "Hey, let's take a poll, let's take a ballot." And who's got anybody got a pair here? You guys got a pair? Anybody? Raise your hand. Two people raise their hand. Yeah, I got a pair. Does anybody have a straight? One person raises their hand. This is basically similar to what's going on with this, quote, voting. You have no vote. The votes that put the so-called president, which is not even the president of this land, it's the president of the United States Merchant Corporation. It's the CEO, the chief executive officer of the corporation. All right? Why do you think someone like Donald Trump would even have a chance? Go back to 2015, people were about 2013, 2014, people were taking him as a joke. All right? It's an actor. It's a front man. Even CEOs of Fortune 500 companies do not own the company. The chairman of the board of directors and the board, all right, that's what they call it. Say you made partner, okay, in the corporate world. That there's a board of directors that runs the company. It's the same thing with the United States Corporation that was opened in Delaware, all right, a state that already had its own laws. The United States of America declared independence in 1776, but the United States Corporation was opened in 1868 in the state of Delaware. Ever since then, a citizen is considered an employee. So you have no vote. What they're doing is gauging, they're testing the waters. They're getting a sneak peek on your hand to see where your thoughts and your energy, which pole it's connected to, so they can move forward with their agenda that they already have, regardless of which actor they put in front of you. They have an agenda. All right? One is called 2025. That's if you're going Republican. One is 2030. That's if you're going Democrat. It's pick your poison, basically. But you have no vote. A vote is not cast at a ballot. A ballot is a ballot. It's just seeing who's. It's a poll. They're taking a poll. That's why they say when everyone's on the news and they see these states and they're either blue or they're red, and you're the night of the when everyone's casting their ballots. What does the news anchor say? The polls are in. It's all word magic, lesser magic that stems all the way back to Babylon. Okay? The polls are in, meaning the survey is in. We have surveyed the population, aka popular vote. Just how they decide to word it. If you look these words up in Black's Law Dictionary, you'll get closer to the truth than you will if you try to look them up on Google and say, what does this mean? The votes are casted by the Electoral College. The Electoral College consists of your senators and your House of Representatives. The larger the population of the state, the more Electoral College votes that state holds. That's why they go after certain states more. California, Texas, New York, Pennsylvania, okay, Ohio. And then the ones that are kind of like in the middle, they call them swing states. All right? The ones that aren't the biggest, but aren't small, they're like in the middle that are very valuable. And that is the vote. So you have no vote. So don't worry about who should I vote for. You should vote for nobody. You should not even be voting. You should not be showing them your hand, because they have their agenda regardless. You don't have a vote unless you are in the Electoral College. You are in the House of Representatives, or you are a senator. Then you don't have a vote. You're casting a ballot. All right. On a poll, or at a poll. You're taking a poll. That's all it is. It's similar to like a union. All right? But it's a corporation. It's a merchant. It's a sea merchant. They're abiding by the laws of the water, the maritime laws. UCC, Admiralty, Maritime Law. Okay? The president is the captain of the ship. That's all it is. And the flag is on the ship. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. Why did they stop saying that? Because the United States of America really no longer exists. The last president of the United States of America was actually Abraham Lincoln. That was the last president of the United States of America. Why do you think? I remember when I was a child, you could still see like United States of America, or even America, as something you could check off on paperwork and stuff. It stopped almost instantly, and then it became U.S. only. Really, when the internet started coming out, it became United States only. It never says United States of America anymore. It's just United States. That's the corporation. Okay? Has nothing to do, July 4th has nothing to do with United States Corporation, with the president, with none of that. United States military has nothing to do with United States of America. That is not America's military. That is the military of the corporation. It's basically like the security guards at the Amazon factory, or the UPS or the FedEx factory. That's what the equivalent of the military is. They just got some really big toys to play with. Okay, that's all it is. So my advice to you is, do not vote. Do not give them their support. Do not show them that you're supporting this system. If anything, the question should be, well, how can we get this government out of, get this system off of our land? That's what the question should be. Not who should I vote for, the lesser of these evils up here. Why do you think it doesn't even matter who the write-in people are? Like people that make a good push, and even if someone was to get known, like highly known, or write-in, your vote means nothing. The popular vote could be, it could blow out both Trump and Kamala and this person that you've never heard of that just develops all this steam, and the popular vote could destroy both Trump and Kamala, and they still will not become president, because this is being pushed by people that you do not even know their names, never even seen their faces. Even the ones that you have seen, like Kissinger and Soros and people like that, they're not even the top. Now you're getting closer with people like that, the Rothschilds and things. They're not even the top. Okay? But you're getting closer when you're looking at the money in the banking system. United States doesn't even have a dollar. It has a Federal Reserve note that they still use it and call a dollar, but it's actually like slang term. You have a Federal Reserve note, and in Federal Reserve, that's the same thing as thinking that FedEx has something to do with, Federal Express has something to do with the federal government. No, it doesn't. So the Federal Reserve note has nothing to do with the United States of America or the United States Corporation. It's a contract, a third party source that's on the land. They are a third party that's on the land. They are squatters on the land of America. Okay? Turtle Island, Amor Inca, Mer Inca. All right? Many different native themes. If you really want to know what you should be doing, because they're not going to allow you to overthrow them like on some January whatever. I don't even want to say it into the algorithm. You know what I'm talking about, that PSYOP event that happened. They're not going to let you do it like that. What you have to do is, the people that have native ties to this soil, it does not matter the shade of your skin, because we all have been somewhere along the line, your ancestors have married and intertwined with others. Okay? So don't worry about that. But what you need to worry about is restoring the matriarch. Because when they came over here, that was the law of the land. It's a matriarchal system. So the women, and this has already happened. I personally haven't been involved with 2 different townships, and we're working on a third that's up in the air. That we're struggling with it, but it's good that we're struggling with it because it presented a different obstacle than the other 2 townships that that it's good. It's like practice. It's like practicing, and opposition actually makes you better. So I personally have been involved in restoring 2 townships to the law of the land and not the law of the sea. All right, these people don't have a country. They have a corporation. The United States of America technically is still in civil war. It's just no battles, okay? There's no battles being fought. A war can go on for 20, 30 years without battles. There can be a battle here, a battle there, but civil war is still technically still going on. And they assassinated Lincoln, and the Civil War was never for the United States of America was never declared that it was over. No white flag was waved. So we have a corporation that's operating under merchant law, which is the law of the sea, which means the law of a ship, which is actually legal. It's corporate legal fiction. That's why they tell you liberty. They never tell you freedom, because if they say freedom, that implies that you're a slave, and you don't want it. They don't want that to trigger you, so they use the word liberty. Well, in Black's Law Dictionary, and anybody that's in the military knows that liberty is when you're on a ship and the ship docks, and you have liberty as a seaman to get off the ship and to come onto the land, but you are still under the law of the maritime. You have liberty to go onto the land, but if you get in trouble on that land, you're still going to be tried under the laws of the ship, because you are a citizen or an employee or a sailor on the ship. Okay? That's why the Statue of Liberty is not on land. It's sitting in the middle of a bay. Okay? It's not by coincidence the way this is all designed. And then they got the little shackles around the feet, showing that is shackled to the water. That the whole concept is ball and chain to the water, the laws of the sea. All right, which again is not laws, because every ship has its own law, just like every land has its own law. Every tribe has their own law. That's the laws of the land. The only way to get out of this is to restore the matriarch locally, in your local township, in your local government. This is what you need to be doing. And that does not mean getting your native people in office as a treasurer or as a secretary or something in their system. No, that means coming in there with your own doctrine, declaring sovereignty, saying, hey, we are taking back this land that is ours. And you can present blood ties to the land, then you have rights to that land. More than rights, you have the blood ownership. See, they've come with rights from their ship, and through word magic have made you think that they own this land. They don't own this land. And Trump was forced to sign the Indigenous Peoples Act of 2017, I believe. No one knows how to read it because they wrote it in their Babylonian, dog Latin, doublespeak, legalese. Okay? But the Indigenous Peoples Act basically states, if y'all can present it and do it in the proper way, we'll give you the land back. We know that this is your land, and we know that a lot of people are, quote, waking up, I like to say becoming aware of the truth scenario. So the Indigenous Peoples Act was signed. Now, I know there's going to be some egotistical people that hop in the comments and say, oh, the Indigenous Peoples Act was just about this. Well, then you just are one of those people that don't know how to read it, don't know what you're reading. Okay? The Indigenous Peoples Act, he was forced to sign it. Okay? Because their time is up. They made deals about 150 years ago, and time's up. Okay? And on top of you abiding by the laws of the sea, UCC, Admiralty, Maritime Law, they actually have you also lost at sea. That's why they will open a corporation in your name. That's why your name is in all caps on your ID. And that's why it doesn't say you're a man or a woman. It says you're a male or female. Now, they've even called on to that. And now they don't write it out no more. They put M or F, which actually stands for masculine or feminine. All right? Because male and female are animals. A man and a woman cannot be male or female under when you're dealing with government and law. You're either a man or a woman. And that consists of masculine or feminine energy. So, in all caps, remember, they go by Black's Law Dictionary. In all caps, that means you're a corporation. A corporation is a corpse. It's a dead entity. How do they do this? Your mother was coerced and gave consent through ignorance at the hospital. Okay, because when you go to the hospital and you deliver a child, the papers you sign that you don't really read, that you're just signing at now it's the electric little box that you sign. If you were to read all that, it's basically saying you are incompetent to have the child on your own, and you need the help of the state, the government. Okay? So therefore, you're giving the government access to whatever means they have to do to deliver this child. Okay? And then they get you to sign off on a birthing certificate. All right, a birthing document. Okay, just as ships are birthed. When a ship is birthed at the dock, all right, they have to sign a birthing certificate, a birthing document that shows all the freight, what's on the freight, how many containers and what's in it, and all of that. That is a birth certificate. That doctor, who has the same status as an attorney, which is they are considered a noble man or a noble woman. All right, that means they are considered royalty. That means they're considered direct workers to the crown. A doctor and attorneys are considered direct workers under the crown. And the crown is directly under the Vatican, Rome. All right. So this doctor signs off on this certificate that the mom signs, probably still lackadaisical from the experience, and then they send it off to the Secretary of State, or the Treasurer. It's one or the other. It's been a while since I've taught this. It's one or the other. Secretary of State or the State Treasury. I think it might be the Treasury. And about 3 days after the live birth, that will be received and it will be stamped and the corporation will be open. Now you have 7 years for the mother to go back and say, hey, this person is alive. I would like to claim that they are not lost at sea and they are alive, and I would like my living certificate of birth. All right? And a lot of people are grabbing these living certificates, but it's been after 7 years, so your status is already lost at sea, therefore you are a citizen. What does this mean? That means they can take your last will and inheritance and all that you're leaving. They can literally intervene and take that, because technically you're dead at sea. They can take you could have a house, a family house, that is paid for on land and all that. Unless you have a always mispronounce this, a lordal deed, then you only own the bricks and the wood that's on top of that land, because they still have rights over the land. They don't own it neither, but they have the rights. You don't. Okay, especially if you have a mortgage. So they can swoop in and take all of that. You think you've been working your whole life to get this house and this and that to give to your children, and then in most states, I think all but 2, maybe 3, they can come. It's called eminent domain. They can come actually just rip your whole house down and say, hey, we're getting ready to build a highway through here. There's nothing you can do about it. Nothing. Nothing you can do about it. Okay? So, as far as voting, you're voting for nothing. You don't have a vote. They call it a popular vote, just like they call these courts out here courts of law. They're not courts of law. It's color law. Color law means look it up in Black's Law Dictionary. It means it resembles law, but it's not law. It's corporate legalities, policy. And who enforces the policy? The police, the police. They're the policy enforcers. They do not enforce the law of the land. The law of the land is there's no crime committed if you have not brought damage upon someone's physical vessel or any of their physical property. Then there is no crime committed. All right? That's the law of the land. It's quite simple. It's not complicated with all this stuff. If there's no injury, harm brought to a person's physical vessel or their physical property, their land, or anything that they own that is a material thing, a good, food growing, land, animals, anything, there has been no crime committed. But what you have done is broken the corporate policy. You're on the clock 24 hours a day, citizen. Okay, when they file this, when they open this corporation under the parent corporation called Virginia Corp, that's the Crown. Same thing happening over there in the UK. All right, they're under the same corporate legal fiction. They're owned by the Virginia Corp. All right, they don't, then the Prime Minister and this and that. That's all just different sects of the corporation handling different branches of the work of being a merchant. All right? This has been going on a very long time, since the days of the ancient, what you call Egyptians. The Egyptians used to outsource. The Egyptians were not a seafaring people themselves. They outsourced their import and export and trade through third parties, and mainly being the Phoenicians and the Moors. All right, depending on who it was. It wasn't until the Greeks came down and got involved with Kemet and or the Egyptians, and then the Greeks took the mystery school teachings, and they were seafaring people. Okay, and that's when they, and then the Romans came in, the top Greeks made deals with the Romans, and that's where we have the start of the malevolent, what's called Illuminati today. Okay, it wasn't started in Bavaria in 1776 and all that nonsense. This stuff been going on for thousands of years. Okay, Illuminati, was actually a benevolent term at one point. All right, it wasn't always this group of people that were just, trying to control everyone. It really began with the Greeks. That's where it began, where information started being purposely put out as lies. Including the Ra legions, okay? So don't want to take too much of your moment this rising, or wherever you may be in the world, and whatever moment it is during the day. But that is the truth about voting and what's going on. You have no vote. It's a poll, it's a survey, it's a ballot to see where is your mind state, okay? Until they can get everybody fully, and fully resonating with the millimeter wave technology, the Department of Defense millimeter wave technology that they call 5G, when they're going to ramp it up to 6G and all that. When they can get that thing running, then there'll be no need for the vote. They're already starting it. They can already read people's energy and everything over these devices, especially the people that took that poison. It's no longer where they're listening to you. They are listening to you, and your camera takes a picture every 3 seconds. This is a fact. You can see it on infrared Ring doorbells and stuff. If somebody has an iPhone standing outside, you can see the infrared flash every 3 seconds. You can see it. It's taking a picture every 3 seconds. Infrared. That means it's actually taking a picture of your energy. Also, now, especially the people that have taken the poison, they can actually not read your mind, but they can assimilate your based off of your energy, and then they like your most recent words that you've been speaking around any devices, and then that's why an ad will pop up, and you'll be like, "Dang, I was just thinking that." You didn't even say it, but you was thinking it, and it pops up because what they did was quantum artificial intelligence just logically guessed based on the energy pictures that they're taking, and based off of maybe your most recent words that you were spoke, even if it was yesterday, they logically narrow it down to this. They got to be thinking along these lines, okay? They can tell when you're thinking about money based off of your emanation, your frequency. So that's when your ads will come on about, and you tired of these, these scams on Amazon, this and that, or this is not a real estate. And they start talking about investing money and things like that. And you didn't say anything about it. It's energetic. So that's what they're working towards. And they tell you that. The World Economic Forum, the Noah Harari has said surveillance has now moved under the skin. Okay? So until they get it fully active, they're going to need you to still go up here and do these polls and these ballots so they can gauge which polarity the masses are leaning towards. That way they can put the proper, most effective person as the face of who's going to be the most effective based on these ballots of the people for our agenda moving forward. All right. And now, before it was all done by human minds, but now, well, not all of them are what we would call human. But now it is more based off the quantum AI. They're letting the quantum AI pretty much run the show and tell them this, according to all the data that I have, and I being the AI, quantum AI, which is your antichrist to all the Biblicans out there. It's collecting so much data. It's similar to all of us, all of our brains combined, but it's one brain. That's what this quantum AI computer is. All right. Now, the biblical antichrist is the person that's going to be linked into this and have access to it all. It's just like a pyramid. It's going to be one person at the top that has unlimited access to this through the Neuralink. That's why it says it's marking your head or your hand or both. The poor people are only going to have the hand one so they can go up there and scan their hand and buy just the bare necessities. You know, a bag of, crushed up crickets that have barbecue seasoning and stuff on them that look like potato chips, and some lab grown meat that's grown from bacteria, milk that's come from a cow that was grown, that was from cloned DNA, and antibiotics and steroids. Full-grown cow in about 4 months. Full-grown chickens that are so big, so muscular, they can't even move, can't even stand up. They're just so plump and everything, jacked up, full of steroids, and you're eating that. And then on top of that, they, even though they're artificial animals, they still get traumatized, similar to, witchcraft, when they traumatize and it releases chemicals in the blood, and then they actually, this is real stuff. This is what they do to your food. So when you eat this meat and this food you're doing, you want to talk about achrome. When you're consuming this meat out here, you're doing the same thing. It's just not on a blood level. That you're eating the meat, and that energy is still in the protein, in the cell synthesis of that particular meat that you're eating. The GMO fruits and vegetables have next to no nutrients. Now, it's better than eating the meat, but right now the best thing you can do is start growing your own food. You have to. There ain't no should I, could I, how do I do it? Well, you need to start using your moments more wisely on here instead of scrolling endlessly, worried about who you should vote for when you don't even have a vote, and start looking up, when should I plant this? What can I do during the winter seasons in my region? Okay, and there's more to it. Like I said, I don't want to extend this video too long, but that is the answer to who you should vote for. You should not be voting. When they see when they say the polls are in, it should be so little amount of people that voted. They should be flabbergasted that only a third of the American people voted. And they should have about 1 million total votes instead of 300 million. And they should just be so flabbergasted. If you do that, then they don't know who to put in front of you. And then Then they still have their AI to go back to lean on as well, of the conversations and everything on AI. But they don't want to do that. They want to be sure. Okay? So my advice to you is, don't go up there and cast no ballot. Don't let them know what you're thinking. Do not show them your hand. It's time to start moving and repairing, rejuvenating ourselves at a grassroots level, and stop telling them what we're going to do before we do it. It's time to just start doing it and linking up with like-minded individuals. Okay? Now, I think I may have to start running, as part of my teachings and things, running a class showing you how to do this in your community. And I guarantee that as much problems and as much trouble as they give me on this page already through the spiritual teachings, they'll really come for me then. They'll probably shut me all the way down. But if we're serious, we'll do it. We'll get together. We'll do Zoom calls. All right? We all are leaders. All right? Everybody just has different positions. You know, they got that old saying, too many chiefs, not enough Indians. Well, I beg to differ. We're all chiefs out here. It's just, what are you a chief of? Okay? It's time for you to figure out, what are you a chief of? What are you a chiefess or a chieftain of? All right? That's the moment we are in. Come out from among them, separate yourselves, conform not to the ways of the world. Not W-O-R-L-D, W-H-I-R-L-E-D. World, like a whirlwind. The ways of the world, the ones that are spinning, that don't even know that there is no vote. You have no vote. Okay? So that's what I recommend to you. If I came across like I'm coming at you or in some kind of, demeaning way, that's not the energy that I meant. I just rose, got my coffee here right now, getting cold. Just wanted to address that. So that's what I recommend. Stop showing them your hand, and that same energy that we or you use to worry about who the front man is going to be in front of the United States corporation owned by the Virginia corporation that's owned by the papacy. Instead of worrying about that, we should be worrying about how you can grow your own food, how you can filtrate your own water system and have your own natural water supply. Regardless if you got to tap into a well or if you have to move near a mountain, a stream, or whatever the case may be. Only the Great Spirit can tell you the answers to those things. But what you need to be worrying about is what do I do to restore the law of the land in my area? What can I do? That's the question that needs to be asked, not who do we vote for. All right? I love you guys. Love, balance, and wholeness be within you and all that you love. Mësët.